Hi everybody, I just wanted to show you an example of a presentation for the final project, a final presentation that you'd be putting forward. So again, this is taking from that person who presented, and so let's go ahead and click it on and go through the slideshow that she put together. I've added a couple of things in here to help kind of clarify what I'm looking for in this work. So, okay, so she has a title slide and who she is, which I've blocked out there. And then a little bit of background talking about the eye and the retina. Some of these images you'll recognize from her final paper, so she's been able to sort of repurpose those images, and as you're putting together your work, you'll want to be able to try to do the same thing. She also has this nicely cited here in the presentation area. And then here, this is basically showing some of the focus, some of the areas that of the eye that are actually damaged in glaucoma, and then some of the specifics about the cell types that are actually involved in it. And then she gets into talking about the different types of glaucoma. So she's moved from describing the sort of site of the pathology to actually some of the aspects of the pathology itself and some of the characteristics of it. And then from there, she goes into some more of the details in it in terms of some of the development, how it happens, and what are the changes that occur during development. So from clinical manifestations to those types of things. And then what she starts to gets into thinking about is describing different aspects and specifics about glaucoma and what's occurring in those cases. So there's a lot of factors and causes of glaucoma, and she presents those, and they're relevant to how she actually tries to tackle some of the different treatments that are ultimately outlined there. So excitotoxicity, she gets into mitochondrial dysfunction, protein misfolding, oxidative stress, reduced blood flow, neurotrophin withdrawal. And then she gets into some different types of therapies. In particular, her focus is on stem cell therapy, so she zeroed in on this. And she gave a diagram here to kind of outline that. Awesome. And then some of the aspects of stem cell differentiation. At this point, so in a previous iteration of the class, we had it where some of those data slides were presented during the science journaling phase. But here, we're going to have you guys incorporate that. So some of those like data slides, and what we're thinking here is a graph or a table or some kind of quantitative type of data that you can show, and then also then you can describe in brief what the methods are. You don't have to be an expert on the methods, but you want to be at the point that you can actually describe what the methods roughly are. And there may be some gaps there and everything, but you want to kind of get the good idea of what it is. So you want to be as accurate as you can so that when people ask you questions, you'll be able to address them as much as possible. So in her case, what she had talked about is she talked about stem cells and the potential for stem cells in glaucoma. And so maybe there's some kind of a study that actually was helpful in terms of illustrating that and that she brought into her paper already. And then neuroprotection, okay. This is a diagram kind of illustrating the major points of it. And then another data slide that would actually really help reinforce a key point from one of the papers. So it's one figure from a key paper that's out there, and then again a brief description of the methods. Neuroregeneration, if you remember the previous one was actually neuroprotection, so this is slightly different. And then again, another data slide that would help bring that up. And then conclusions. So what are the current methods, the great potential of stem cells? And so she verbally went through some of those things for the class. So that gives you an idea of what the kind of depth that we're looking for in your presentation. So I hope that helps, and we will stop there.